Let's talk about the difference between principles and techniques. And one of the reasons why this is important to understand is that if you rely too much on techniques, you might end up trying to force or steer your client's unconscious mind in a way that actually creates resistance. I think it's important to note that the unconscious mind does not just automatically choose what is best. It often chooses what is familiar, normal, what feels safe to it. And so if a habit feels normal to the unconscious mind, it might keep repeating that behavior, kind of running that program, even when the conscious mind wants to change. And so trying to directly command change using a technique, even if the technique is elegant, can backfire because the unconscious mind might be really determined to protecting the existing pattern. And the reason why this can happen with techniques is that they're inherently limited. They have an exact sequence, and they assume that every client will follow the same steps. And so the goal here is to understand how to work with principles so that you can let these naturally emerge instead of following a pre-planned process. And the thing is that all techniques are built from principles. The problem is that techniques become too fixed, they become too rigid. If you think in your sessions in terms of principles, it allows the session to respond to the client in real time. The client becomes the central organizer of the entire session rather than the technique. You can kind of feel it sometimes. If you've been a practice client for someone else who's learning different techniques, you can feel that you are secondary in their mind to the technique. You want the client to become the central organizing framework for the entire session, and then the principles can fit in. And so principles are much broader. They're things like listening carefully, placing attention on the problem, repeating keywords or phrases that are unconscious moments, asking curious questions, observing unconscious moments, trusting what naturally emerges, not trying to do anything, allowing the unconscious process to unfold. Now, as you do this, what's really interesting is that the unconscious mind may spontaneously produce things that look like techniques. Just by asking curious questions, memories will pop up, age regressions will happen, imagery will come to mind. They'll feel more relaxed. They'll feel intense emotions throughout their body. Eye closure might happen. They might start visualizing specific things. And when these happen naturally, they're so much more effective than when they're forced artificially. And what often happens is someone will see a session, whether it's of Erickson or someone else, where these things may have happened spontaneously, but then they look back and say, I want to capture that magic in a bottle and turn it into a formula that I can repeat, which I completely understand the impulse to do. But the effect of it is so different when it's forced versus when it happens spontaneously. And that's why I call this spontaneous hypnosis. When it happens spontaneously, it comes completely from the client and is so much more effective. So practically, do not enter the session already deciding which technique will be used. Start with the simplest question, which is what's the problem? What do you want? Listen for unconscious moments in the client's answers. And those may appear in the form of sudden memories, emotion shifts, confusion, pauses, unexpected words, unexpected emphasis on certain words, body changes, metaphors, contradictions, spontaneous imagery. When those appear, amplify them, make them bigger, ask about them, use process instructions around them, use curiosity instead of control, repeat important words back to them, and then let the client's unconscious mind take the lead as far as where it goes from that. Grow what it gives you, and then let it go where it wants. These principles are universal, but as far as specific techniques, wait for the client to tell you. You don't need to be coming in pre-decided what they need. They will tell you in the session, very literally, what they need by just doing it themselves. They'll go there first. And then if you want, you can go there and play it up a little bit, make it seem like you were planning it the whole time, look like that wizard, look like that guru. Or you can just take more of a relaxed backseat, which is what I prefer. Let it happen. Let them take full ownership of it. And then they won't depend on you for thinking that you're the one that caused this. Let them have that belief in themselves. And if you can really master this process, which is largely requiring you to just back off a little bit, sessions become way more flexible and responsive. You don't need to memorize things. You don't need to force things. Things will emerge naturally. And the best part of all of this is that it takes the pressure off of you. You don't need to plan the whole thing out in advance. Your role is simply to notice what their unconscious mind wants to do, respect it, encourage it enough to keep growing, and guide it without forcing it.